No heroics into Sandoval, please.
Cheers, Jeff.
Hey guys, it's James here. Welcome back to another F1 2020 My Team Career Mode video. We are here for episode number 10 of Season 3 at the Italian Grand Prix. If you did miss the last episode in Spa, make sure to go check that one out. It was all change at JNS Racing. Daniel Ricciardo out of the team. In comes Mick Schumacher, who performed extremely well in his first ever Grand Prix. But we're going to Monza, a place we've never actually scored points at. So it's going to be a real test to see if we can do so this time out, as we're now just going to advance time towards qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix. So here we are then for qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix. Just going over and checking the setup. I haven't used my custom Italy setup. I put the golden setup on because I've been really struggling with downforce and just how powerful this car is. So we cut on to our second lap. Our first lap of the session was pretty decent, except we made a big mistake at the parabolic corner, which probably cost us around 0.2 of a second or so. So we're looking to make amends, as we're currently in third place with Mick Schumacher on provisional pole as we head through the Rettifilo for the first time. We just touched the grass there a little bit on the exit, and that's going to cost us as we head through the Curva Grande. We're a full 10th down, heading towards the end of the first sector. Hopefully we can make that up as we get to Parabolica, braking for the second chicane. We go a little bit too deep of the first one, have to almost touch the gravel on the exit to keep the speed going, and we're 2/10 down almost, heading through the first of the Lesmo corners. But a good run through there. We've made up some of the lost time. A good run through the second Lesmo as well. Get a good exit out of that corner. Open up the DRS down towards Ascari. We've gained a bit of time through the middle sector. We've been extremely strong through the middle sector all weekend because of the extra downforce that we're running as we head through Ascari. This is where we lost the car plenty of times last year, but we're back up into the green zone, looking to improve. We're in the slipstream of Kevin Magnussen as well, which will be extremely useful. So we head now down towards the Parabolica corner. Can we get a good exit? We've gained a huge amount of time. Just as I said, we made a mistake through the Parabolica corner last time. Can we do well as we fly towards the line? It's going to be provisional pole position. After our second run, coming on to our third run, we were doing even better. We were absolutely flying, and then we made a huge mistake at Ascari. That's cost us half a second, and not only that, we're also towing a Mercedes as Mick Schumacher goes on to provisional pole position. Where do we finish in qualifying? It's 5th place for us for the race tomorrow. 4/10 off. I feel like we probably could have set pole position without the massive mistake we made at Ascari, but 5th place isn't too bad.
We're back in Italy once again for another round of the Formula One World Championship. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Mick Schumacher completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Bottas, James and Ocon, Norris, Sainz, Stroll and Charles Leclerc, Vettel, Kvyat, Alexander Albon and Gasly, Perez, De Vries, George Russell and Kevin Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Joe and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So here we are then for the start of the Italian Grand Prix. Starting in 5th place, it's going to be a very simple soft to medium compound tyre strategy. Hopefully we can get up towards the podium places, as we've never scored points in Monza before. But we're going to go to 5 red lights for the start of the Italian Grand Prix. The lights are off, and so are we. It is showtime here at Monza. It's been a great start compared to Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas as we fly through the middle as Mick Schumacher takes the lead of the Italian Grand Prix down towards the Rettifilo. It's Schumacher going side by side with Lewis Hamilton, who's got the apex of turn 2, but Mick Schumacher will get the better exit out onto the Curva Grande, and he is up into the lead. It's a JNS Racing 1-3 with Lewis Hamilton, the sandwich car, as we've gone up from 5th up to 3rd. Schumacher's gone from 2nd up to 1st. We get another replay of the start, the lights went off and we got a fantastic launch. We just carved through the middle of both Verstappen and Bottas as Mick Schumacher got the run on Lewis Hamilton down towards the Rettifilo. It was almost 3 wide between myself and Bottas, but we just braked that a little bit later, and so we got ourselves up into 3rd place as Mick Schumacher took the lead going out onto the Curva Grande. We look at our onboard at the start. Look at the way we just didn't get any wheel spin and just ploughed our way up through the middle of the field, up into 3rd place immediately, and watching our teammate Mick Schumacher take the lead. He finished 2nd last time out of Spa in a fantastic performance from the young German, and we see Lewis Hamilton's onboard now of the start. Decent first launch, but then he gets a huge amount of wheel spin through gear 1. You'll see Mick Schumacher come alongside him any second now. Yes, there he is. Hamilton got a lot of wheel spin in the 2nd phase of the start. He braked that a little bit later than Mick Schumacher, managed to go around the outside of the first part of the Rettifilo, but Mick Schumacher just got better drive of the 2nd half of the corner, and he is up into the lead. Look at Mick Schumacher. He gets very, very little wheel spin compared to Hamilton, flying down the very, very long part of the circuit. Obviously, it's a very long run down towards the first corner. He holds the inside line for the first corner, swoops around the outside of the 2nd part and takes the lead for JNS Racing. The end of lap number 2. Hamilton and Schumacher have shot up the road somewhat. We're now under some considerable threat from Max Verstappen, who pulls out of our slipstream. We're going side by side down the main straight. The DRS has been enabled, but we're still side by side with Verstappen. We try and outbrake him down towards the Rettifilo, and we hold on to 3rd place. That Red Bull looking very racy as we get a replay of it, a bit like Senna and Mansell in Spain in 1992, going side by side. We're going side by side the entire way down the straight with Max Verstappen, and we managed to hold on to 3rd place, which is fantastic. Cut on to lap number 5. We've made some seriously good progress. We've turned the engine up to try and catch both Schumacher and Hamilton, get into the DRS range of Lewis Hamilton, and I think we might just be that little bit too far away. Yes, we're 1.0 seconds, so we're a little bit too far outside the DRS zone, but it doesn't matter. We've set a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We are flying as Hamilton is just less than half a second behind Schumacher. The running order: Schumacher, Hamilton, James JNS, as we fly around Monza on lap number 9 now. We're just trying our very hardest to catch up to Lewis Hamilton. Mick Schumacher just holding on to the lead by 0.5 of a second or so. It's very close between the top 3, and it's going to be who's going to bike first on the pit stop. Cut on to lap number 10 now, and Hamilton is very, very close to Schumacher. They're going to go side by side here, down towards the first corner. Hamilton chooses the outside. Schumacher covers the inside. Who's going to come out on top? Hamilton around the outside of the first part of the Rettifilo, much like on lap 1. But Mick Schumacher gets better drive off the 2nd part of the corner, and so he keeps the lead of the Italian Grand Prix as we head round the Curva Grande. We'll have a look at this from our point of view now, as we just saw Schumacher and Hamilton going side by side. Obviously, they're compromising each other that much through the Rettifilo that we managed to catch up a huge amount to both Hamilton and Schumacher, which was fantastic. You see, we're just 3.5 tenths behind Lewis Hamilton heading round the Curva Grande. And we have been very, very much drawn into this fight, and now it's all about the pit stop. Pit stop window for us opens on lap number 10, but as we cut to the end of lap 10, Lewis Hamilton pulls into the pit lane. So this is going to be absolutely crucial for the race. Now, this is our opportunity in a tiny bit of clear air, I guess, behind Mick Schumacher, but meld with the fact that he's going to be towing us down the straight. We're going to have one more lap on these soft compound tyres before we strap on a set of the medium compound of tyre. We pit for a set of the mediums on lap number 11. Hopefully we can come out ahead of Lewis Hamilton and make the overcut work. He was only about 0.4 of a second ahead of us as he headed into the pit lane. He's been stuck behind George Russell for the entirety of his outlaps. We want a good stop from the team. It's not been a great stop. 3.1 seconds. We want a 2.5 second stop. So that's been a bit of a disaster. Cars fly past. They haven't made their stops yet. Who's going to come out on top as we come out of the pit lane? There goes George Russell. There's Lewis Hamilton. We're side by side down towards the first corner. We go down the inside of Lewis Hamilton and we get back up ahead of Hamilton. What is now a net 2nd place and a net JNS Racing 1-2 on the road. And now the important thing is that we get past George Russell. Hamilton's on a set of the hard compound of tyres, so I don't really understand the strategy from Mercedes there. We need to make sure we don't get held up by George Russell, as Mick Schumacher will come into the pits any second now. We get great drive compared to Russell out of the 2nd Lesmo corner down towards Ascari with the DRS and overtake. We just blast past and we are up into what is 8th place, as now Mick Schumacher is in the pits for his stop. Mick Schumacher has pitted. And so now, on the exit of the pits, there is Mick coming out of the pit lane. We're going to be side by side down towards the Rettifilio. Who's going to come out on top? We go around the outside of Mick Schumacher. We've actually gone a bit too deep down into the Rettifilio. That might give Mick the run out onto the Corva Grande. We're just a little bit too far ahead for him. But yes, we are up now into the net lead of the Grand Prix. We get another replay of the two JNS racing cars. Now, we go on the right-hand side of your picture around the outside of Mick Schumacher, but then go too deep into the Rettifilio. Just about managed to hold on to position, but that could have been a very, very big disaster for our own race if we'd gone too deep and lost the position. Now, on lap 15, we've gone a bit wide out of Ascari, and here comes Mick Schumacher. We're side by side down towards Parabolica. We're both absolutely flying at 211 miles an hour. We go down the inside for the Parabolica corner. Mick Schumacher trying to hold it the entire way around the outside of the Parabolica corner. The two JNS racing cars are still side by side as we get another replay of what happened there down towards the Parabolica corner. We were both absolutely going hell for leather. Mick Schumacher is extremely racy. He's obviously come into the team after Daniel Ricciardo walked away from JNS Racing. We're going side by side through the Parabolica corner. What a fantastic shot that was. We're still side by side down towards the Variante Rettifilio. Mick Schumacher has the advantage and the DRS, but we are in the slipstream, meaning we'll have a lot of speed as well. We pull to the outside. Mick Schumacher gets all flustered through braking, but then we go too deep into the second part of the Rettifilio. We get a replay of us going too deep into the second part of the Rettifilio. You see Mick got all out of shape when braking, and we just got a bit too greedy on the throttle towards the second half of the Rettifilio, and Mick Schumacher swoops back past. Now on lap number 16, it's our attempt to get past Mick Schumacher one more time. We're in the slipstream of our German teammate. We pulled to the outside. This is actually a replay of what happened earlier on just from our POV. And yes, you see we went too deep into the Rettifilio, the second part of it, and Mick Schumacher was able just to fly back past. So we got plenty of angles of that fantastic piece of racing. Now on lap number 18, it's taken a little while to catch back up to Mick as we get very, very close through the second chicane. We're almost spear into the back of our young German teammate as he was going very, very slowly through there. We actually went a little bit deep into that second chicane. We're just 0.8 is the gap between the two JNS racing cars. Now on lap number 19, we're just half a second behind Mick Schumacher using rich mix and overtake. We've used a whole load of fuel, so this might be our final chance to get past our teammate. We go to the outside one more time. We go all the way around the outside. We get a much better exit this time off the second part of the Rettifilio, but Mick Schumacher is going to come back at us. We're going side by side around the Corva Grande like Vettel and Alonso in 2011. James JNS and Mick Schumacher going side by side around the Corva Grande, but we hold the lead of this Italian Grand Prix. We're going to have to turn the engine down though. We've used far too much fuel trying to catch our German teammate, and so it's been extremely difficult. We have a look at another replay of us going side by side. We went all the way around the outside of the Rettifilio, didn't go too deep this time. We were able to position the car well, meaning Mick Schumacher couldn't get immediately back past, and then this was smart racing from us, holding the inside line, making Mick Schumacher go the very long way around, got onto the dirty part of the circuit, and we just about held the lead of the Grand Prix, but we are minus half a lap of fuel now. We need to turn the engine down. And so, on lap number 21, Mick Schumacher got a better exit out of the Rettifilio. He's got the inside line now for the Corva Grande, and he might get back past us. We're going to look to go down the inside, though, into the second chicane. And yes, we do actually keep the lead of the Grand Prix. But then again, we need to turn the engine down. Here comes Mick Schumacher on lap number 21. He's got the DRS. He'll be using rich mix. We've turned the engine down to try and save some fuel. We'll look to make a pass back into the Rettifilio if we can hold it together through Ascari. But look at the pace Mick has on the exit of Ascari. He has absolutely flown through there. He's been slightly quicker than us for the entirety of the weekend, and I think it shows there as he's just blasted past through Ascari. And we haven't really got the ERS to have a proper go back at him down towards the Rettifilio, and we make a mistake on the exit of the Parabolica chicane as well, which is a disaster. Yellow flags up ahead on lap number 26 as one of the Renault cars is out of the Grand Prix. Mick Schumacher has blasted up the road as we've had to save a huge amount of fuel. He's now 5.5 seconds up the road. We're more concerned about Lewis Hamilton behind us on the hard compound of tyre. He sort of phased out of the Grand Prix after Mercedes essentially put him on the wrong tyre compound as Mick Schumacher sets the fastest lap of the race as well. He has been fantastic this weekend. And now on the final lap of the Grand Prix, down towards Ascari, the gap to Hamilton 1.7, the gap to Schumacher 6.0. Mick Schumacher came in to JNS Racing at the Belgian Grand Prix after his father came into Jordan at the Belgian Grand Prix. He finished second in that event after qualifying fantastically. He's been dominant today though. Mick Schumacher comes out of the Parabolica corner to win the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. We're going to come across the line to make it a JNS Racing 1-2 and increase our championship lead.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
So that was the Italian Grand Prix. Mick Schumacher winning by 6.7 seconds and taking all 26 points home as JNS Racing picked up another 1-2. And we have a look at the driver standings. We increase our lead over Max Verstappen to 79 points as Mick Schumacher picks up a lot more points. 153 points is the lead for JNS Racing in the Constructors. But that was the Italian Grand Prix. I hope you guys did enjoy that episode. A fantastic fight between myself and Mick was brilliant to watch. If you did enjoy this episode, make sure to give the video a like. Subscribe if you are new around here and you want to see Formula 1 content 3 times a week. And I will catch you in the next one. Later, guys.